Hey everybody. So today we're gonna work on learning how to draw not only my favorite villain, but my favorite character, one of my favorite characters across the board, Joker. And when trying to figure out which Joker I was gonna do, I had a big, yeah, I really wanted to do maybe more of the modern interpretations like in cinema, but if we're, I don't know how many Joker videos I'll ever do, but if we're gonna do one, it should be probably Brian Boland's Killing Joke. Joker is kind of the definitive comic book Joker, and the one I started learning how to draw when I was a kid. So I'm doing a 3/4 angle. I'm gonna rough out the shapes of the head. He's got a little bit of a longer head usually. Uh, kind of an effeminate neck that tucks in behind his jawbone back there. I'm doing the kind of tilting his head downward, having him look up type of pose, because it's a scary looking way to draw him, and it's fun to draw. So I'm getting these rough, big shapes in there, and then I've kind of mapped out where his eyeball sockets will go, and I'm gonna actually get his hairline in kind of early. He's got the kind of a pompadour Elvis cut, so I'm gonna kind of map out the big shapes of that and where the hairline would fall. Kind of a high hairline, but I always caution against exaggerating things too much, because it for me it's kind of easy to, so I try to keep reeling it back in towards realism as much as possible, and trying to have some realistic proportions on there. So now I've got the shape, and the shape of the head's important. I'm going to figure out where that nose is going to be, where the eyeballs are going to fall. And I'm keeping everything really light at this point, because it makes it way easier to manipulate. He's got a slender nose, but he's actually drawn kind of with attractive elongated features. He's always got a kind of a small nose in every incarnation. I think the Ledger had kind of the largest nose, and it really worked for his Joker, but everywhere else it's pretty small. And since his head's tilted down, we're gonna have these features closer together than they normally would be, because there's a perspective at play. So this bottom lip is going to be really close to the bottom of his nose, and he's going to have that really wide Joker smile, right? So it might just tuck right underneath that little nose. Then as far as the teeth goes, well, this is almost like a ball shape that I like to define out in here, and the bottom lip wraps around it, and it can tuck up under the cheek muscles. The chin, even though he's got a prominent chin, I like to try to remember to make it a little bit smaller, because it's going to be, the perspectives at play, and it's kind of tucked down towards his collarbone. I want to map out where those eyebrows are. He's got kind of high, thin eyebrows, but nonetheless defined. I want the bottom eyelids to wrap around here. They're almost our horizon line in a way, like they're almost straight across. I find that works pretty good. It's a good angle. Yeah, he's got a long nose, and since his head's tilted down, we're not going to see much of his nostrils at all. We find the middle where his teeth will meet, right there. A nice bigger bottom lip. It's really just kind of, if you can kind of just figure out the shape of all the teeth and not try to draw them individually, it looks a lot better. Looks more like you're illustrating something that's a brighter color, like white, or in his case, bright yellow. So I just kind of make the shape of the gums there. Now I'm starting to find out where I'm going to want some of those darker lines, and I can add a little pressure to my strokes. Never be afraid to erase something. Start over. You don't lose anything when you start over. You start right where you left off. Okay. Let's see here. I'm starting to think about putting those pupils in, but sometimes I like to move around his eyes and make sure they're, you know, they're arguably the most important part of any character when you can see them. Smaller pupils look better on him every time. Looks way crazier. So the drawing tells me what it wants me to do. You know what I mean? If something needs to be a little thinner, make it a little thinner. So there's kind of a ball shape for the forehead. You can think about that, and it rests cradled by the brow. And then here's the temple. And I'm gonna start thinking about getting those darker roots in there. And I'm thinking big shapes in the hair. I don't want to think individual strands. I'm trying to avoid that, even though it's more fun. Try to avoid it. You save the fun parts for the very end, and they become way more satisfying and more effective at the same time. I think he kind of draws them where it almost looks like the hair is shaved, and I like that idea, having it kind of a shaved on the sides there. Gonna make sure to define those eyes, and that makes them have a little bit more life right away, which really helps get the drawing done. There, I'm gonna change where the bottom of the nose was. I'm gonna have it coming out a little bit more, but now that kind of looks like a shadow, so I'll use that. And start thinking about putting some shadows on the eyes, making them look a little bit more deranged. Thinking about where to put those darks. Darks are fun to put in. And get that collar going. Think about what he's wearing. Big shapes for the bows. So for ears, you got the trachea there. You got a seashell shape. And then you gotta tuck the lobe behind that, and then it comes out here. And you want to really, you know, you really want to squish that oval shape to show the perspective, because ears kind of come out at an angle, and they never really take away from the shape of the head. In other words, they don't protrude often that much, and they kind of look funny when they do. So skinny oval shape. Put some darks in here, and I want to have some crazy strands coming out. But he, you know, it's got to look, I think he looks better when it looks like he did have it really neat, and then just a few come out, you know? So let's get some darks in his hair. Or figure out where they're gonna go at least. I'm just gonna probably shadow this completely. There. Look better. And maybe, yeah, I think it'll look better if I continue that down the side of his face. I want to add a little bit more emphasis to his mouth to suggest how red his lips are in this black and white sketch. Add some shadows under the chin, under his collar, show where the neck comes in the collar and how it wraps around. And then he's going to have the coat comes on top of the collar and comes out in this diamond shape. But you want to show it kind of coming around his neck. It adds a little bit of girth to the skinny guy. Confident strokes. I want to make decisions and I want to stick with them. At a certain point, once I got enough info there, you know, then you make those decisions. So here's his bow tie, and then I used to draw with the long skinny strings, but now I'm thinking I like it, thinking like fatter. Yeah, I'm more into that now. So, and I'm, you know, opportunities for blacks help. Sometimes when you think of something, do it, because you don't want to, at least I never want to rely on my memory. You know, so like once you get an idea, try to get it in there. So we used to do part 1s and part 2s because you know, I'd do the head and then I'd do the body, but we're just gonna do part 1s now. So if you guys really want to know how to do the body, you can let me know in the comments and we'll do one where he's standing there with his cane or squirting his acid flour. Okay, so you can see how everything's going. He's got the squared off jacket. Like I said, I'm not doing the body. I was going to put the hands in there, but maybe I'll do that after the video and you'll see a version with his hands in here somehow. But for now, that's pretty much it. You know, I'm going to scan it in and mess with the levels. But, you know, and I'll probably put some more shadows in here where I can. And some more detail, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, I hope you guys dug this How to Draw the Joker. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please give me a like and please share. Yeah, if you have any requests, let me know if you want me to draw a character for you and I'll make a video about it. Alright, have a great week. Take care.